to Tranquility Gaming Season 8 coverage. We apologize for the technical difficulties. There's been a lot, especially with Discord going down earlier today. But if you missed the match thus far, we're currently 1-0 in favor of Strix heading into our second map, Thea. It's Chrysalis' choice, and they have chosen Hanamura for our next map in this series.
And, Hanamura, one of the very standard, I guess, brawl maps among the 2CP set of maps. And, that's maybe what I'm expecting from them. A lot of sim TP shenanigans and, going from left to right to up and down with that sim teleporter. But before we can go into the action, we have some swaps coming up from both sides with Strix, subbing out PVB for Madnog or Cherry. And also, subbing out Nighthawk for Dae. And on the side of Chrysalis, as much as Malalia has been doing well for the team and has been a champ for helping them out, Order is now back, and it looks like their support lineup is back in working order.
Literally back in working order, as you would say. They also made a swap in the DPS position. Sepp is out and Hanzuki is in, so it's going to be interesting to see these sort of swaps. And if they're going to be able to help Chrysalis here as they go into the second map, it's also going to be interesting to see how Strix can do with their sort of setup here. So we'll see what the move is here from both sides and which team is going to be able to take advantage of it here on Hanamura. We should be getting into the game very quickly here, but definitely a strong showing from these two teams thus far, Thea.
Oh, definitely. Like, both teams have shown that whatever composition they're running, they know how to run it. With Chrysalis, they just knew how to play that 6-man going in, and they always stayed grouped up together. It just so happened compositional difference. That's what happened back in Ilios. But now we're going into Hanamura, and with Hanamura, that means Brawl, and honestly, standard stock Brawl is very much like your 6-man, right? But that's if you're doing the Sim Teleporter strategy on attack. Now, on defense can be open up to a lot of things. We've seen people run double shield on Hanamura defense. We've seen some people run ball comps on Hanamura defense. And some stick to the usual Brawl with, expertly playing the Sim TP. So what would be interesting to see on the side of Strix right now is what they're going to pull out for their defense comp, as it is Chrysalis being the first to attack for this map.
Yeah, definitely. It'll be interesting to see what Strix decide to come out here on the defense. And if we're going to be seeing a lot of that sim brawl stock standard here for the side of Chrysalis on their attack. Right now, Strix, they're also showing that stock standard sim brawl comp with the Ryan Diva, Sim May, Lucio Bap here, which can work to sort of advantage here, Thea.
Oh, I mean, I'm saying this, like, I'm a Symmetra player. Hanamura is such a good Symmetra map, especially for defense. Like, I'm very biased to playing Symmetra on defense, especially if you know where to place the teleporter to help your team go back to point just as quickly, and even your turret placement. And it looks like we're having a mirror matchup with both of these teams, with both teams running that Sim May DPS line with your standard Brawl tanks. And it looks like Yojimbo already got ult charge from a massive Fire Strike.
Big Fire Strike definitely from Jimbo. Already up to 53% on that Shadow right now with all those sort of Fire Strike damage. But you see, here comes the teleporter coming in from Chrysalis. But Strix have seen this coming. They set up a teleporter of their own. So we'll see which team is able to get the advantage in this sort of fight. Jimbo gets frozen up, but so does Bubble Wyatt. It's been just freezing on both sides. Nobody really being able to get killed thus far, as Immortality Field is used here early from Mimp. That could be a little detrimental here for the side of Strix. The push comes in, and there's the Shatter coming out from Jimbo. Gets 3 on the ground. Doe, however, falls to the hands of Hanzuki, and now Bubble White able to get the return kill onto his main tank counterpart. So Strix having a little bit of troubles here. They do have 4 or 5 people still up here, and Matthews loses his neck, unfortunately. So that's going to be another down, and well, unfortunately, looks like Strix are going to have to give up this point here, but they're still trying to invest in this. Miv gets the kill onto Bubble Wyatt. The mech comes out here from Anastasia, unable to get any sort of kills, and Matthews misses his remech. I looks like it's going to be the end here for Strix's defense, as it looks like they're going to be retreating a little bit, and Chrysalis might be able to get this first point. As I say that, Strix are still investing into this. Hanzuki has to use the wall in order to make sure Strix are unable to get this point, and you see the rest of Strix just piling bodies on this point, just trying to stagger it out. But at the end of the day, with Yojimbo dying, it looks like it's going to be all but curtains here for Strix on point A. They'll have to hold for point B. Chrysalis will get the first point.
Oh dear, I'm very concerned about Mimp, who didn't die on point and might be staggering herself if Chrysalis had seen it, but it looks like she's gonna be able to get away. And, you know, as much as Yojimbo built that shatter very quickly, his team was unable to capitalize it right away, and it looks like going in, Chrysalis is going to have 5 ults, and these can just spiral out of control for them.
Definitely one is the Blizzard coming out from Sergeant Pepper. Gets a few frozen up, including Yojimbo and Mint, but already Strix turning it into their favor. You already see CCW and Sergeant Pepper dying. Make that 3 with Yojimbo again. That perfect fire strike onto Hanzuki, and just like that, Strix getting the final picks in this fight, and that stagger onto the baby diva of Anastasia. They're going to be winning that fight.
Honestly, I personally think that's a misplay from Chrysalis. They had 5 ults. They could have snowballed this, considering, you know, Yojimbo had just used a shatter back then. Wall had been used, no, not Wall, but I think some other ults had been used by Strix back then. They were at an up for the ult economy, and they have just been very, they're very, I don't know how to say this, stingy with their usage of ults, but hopefully they realize this and that they're going to be using ults coming in.
Butcher comes out here from the side of Doha, but that's a 4-man shatter coming out from Bubba White. It won't do enough, however, and Anastasia has to use the bomb. Shatter from Yojimbo is a whip, but it does force out that bomb coming out from Matthews as well. And now you see Chrysalis, they're just waiting back here. Strix have to push them back, and just like that, all those ults being used and absolutely no value getting from either of them. CTW able to use that window to separate Strix, however, and, well, that was a fight.
Well, that indeed was a fight. There were ults used by both sides, and I think Strix just got the better end of that, you know, ult economy, ult efficiency, I guess is the proper term, in the ults used and what got value, because Jimbo has just been sped in and out from all these ults.
Immortality Field has to be used early there from CCW. Same with Mint. Both Immortality Fields down, and the beat was used from Order to try and sustain Chrysalis in that fight. Now the window comes out from the side of Mint, but both shatters missed from both Reinhardts, and all of a sudden Strix starting to get the kills here. Bubba White typing a bunch of question marks in the chat. We may not be able to see that on the stream, but definitely he had a very weird shatter instance there, but still, the kills are now back and forth right now. Matthews is alive here on the Diva, gets that Diva bomb out, and is able to get that Diva bomb kill onto Anastasia. The bomb also invested here from Cherry on that Ashe, and just like that, Strix are able to hold, and no ticks for taken by the side of Chrysalis.
You know, I have my match chat off, so I didn't see those question marks from Bubba Wyatt, but I presume he was surprised that, you know, his ult got cancelled with that one swing from Yojimbo. And coming into this, Dai has to play this beat very well, because Chrysalis is coming in with 4 ults with that May Blizzard and that Baptiste window. But on the side of Strix, they're going to have that Blizzard, so it really comes to who's going to pop that Blizzard first to get value, and, you know, hopefully not get eaten in the process.
Absolutely, it's going to be interesting. And that's a massive wall coming out from Doha onto the enemy Reinhardt. The bomb comes out here from Anastasia, able to get Mim. And here comes the Deadeye as well from Hanzuki. Ults are flying all over the place, but at the end of the day, Chrysalis have found 3 kills in this fight thus far. It's winnable for them right now, and they are all establishing themselves on the point. As I say that, however, Cherry is still alive and well, trying to build up that bomb on the Ashe. Gets killed by CCW, however, so now it's stall and desperation mode here for Strix. They're trying to get onto this point and layer those bodies on as much as possible to try and win this sort of situational fight here, and it's going to be close. Matthews gets that very critical rematch kill onto Order, so now the beat is out of the picture here for Chrysalis. Any big ult could turn the tide here for the side of Strix. Here comes the Immortality Field coming out from CCW to combat that bomb coming out from Cherry. And it's so far, Strix is starting to establish himself back onto this point all of a sudden. Doha's back on the Doomfist. A shadow from Bubba Wyatt lands onto Yojimbo, gets the kill onto him. But so far, Strix are having a little bit of trouble getting back in this fight, and picks are still going in favor here for Chrysalis.
Honestly, I think Bazio could continue this. This fight's still ongoing.
Yeah, it really is still ongoing. It's back and forth, and Chrysalis are just trying to clean up the remnants here for Strix. They can't get all those sort of final picks in. Jimbo sends Order once again back to the grave, but unable to touch the point, and that's going to be Chrysalis capping point B with 1 minute and 16 seconds in the time bank.
You know, that last push by Chrysalis, a lot of ults were expended by both sides, and, you know, Chrysalis just held strong, held their foot down, and, you know, established themselves on the point, properly rotating who goes in and who goes out. And, you know, as much as Strix managed to stall the point to get Cherry or Mad Nug's Bob into play and stall it a bit longer, they really weren't getting the picks necessary after that to regain control of the point. And at the end of the day, Chrysalis should be happy that they managed to cap the whole of Volskaya with a time bank of 1 minute and 16, considering how hard it is actually to just even complete any 2CP map. So we're looking at what both teams are planning to bring out for their attack and defense, and it looks like for Strix, they're sticking to that standard brawl with the sim mate DPS line, so expect a lot of TP movement and figuring out how Mad Dog over here wants to try to use those TPs. On the side of Chrysalis, they're running a double shield, but this time their DPS line is a Pharah and an Ashe, so that's going to be a lot of long distance poke damage that's going to be put on Strix. So Strix really has to be moving in sync and perfectly and grouped up together, especially when they're going through these TPs, because the poke damage from multiple angles is what's going to hurt them.
Me and Dora probably having a little bit of flashbacks to the Palm Beach Poggers versus Koala Kings preseason matchup last season, where Sergeant Pepper pulled out this exact Pharah and was able to do a lot of work. So we'll see if Strix are able to combat it. They already had to use that Immortality Field from Mimp here. You see that Strix, they're establishing themselves on the point. Already got 62% on the progress ticker, and Anastasia dies to Mad Dog's turrets. That is not what you want to see here from the side of Chrysalis, as they're starting to get picked out one by one. Jimbo gets the kill onto Sergeant Pepper, and the double charge onto both tanks of Chrysalis. Chrysalis unable to get any sort of defense there, and that's going to be the one fight here for Strix, and they'll get that first point.
Honestly, I think that was just a rotational issue on who touches point and where the poke damage is going to be coming from on the side of Chrysalis, because they were all just poking on the same two angles, which is very easy to shield and to focus on for Strix as they're going in. And it looks like there's some compositional swaps on the side of Chrysalis, but the fight's about to start. Let's go, Bowsy.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be interesting to see how this fight goes down. Two missed charges. Jimbo able to charge Anastasia, and Doha gets that critical pick onto order there. Here comes the Blizzard coming out from Phantom as well, trying to get any people of Chrysalis in the blast. Shatter comes out from Jimbo, unable to get any sort of picks, but that's the second tick taken here for the side of Strix. Now you see Strix starting to cap this up, cleaning it up the rest of the fight as the kills go in favor of them, and that's a giant time bank compared to what Chrysalis have.
Honestly, they fed Ran Hanamura with a time bank of 5 minutes and 30 seconds. Chrysalis has to work really hard to just even get this first point with that 1 minute 16 and hopefully even get that second point to have a chance to deal with that 5 minute 30-second time bank that Strix has. But we have seen games wherein some teams do have that massive time bank and they just don't manage to utilize it properly on the second run through of assault maps. And I wonder if there will be changes that Chrysalis is going to do, given that they have this time bank of 1 minute 16. How do they plan to use it? And it looks like it's just going to be the same matchup that we saw initially from both sides, especially with a standard brawl from both sides. Actually, it's not standard. It's your Sim May brawl. And hopefully this time, maybe Chrysalis could just speedrun it, stay more stacked up together, and maybe have the same target or target prioritization, because I think that would help them a lot.
Yeah, definitely. And I like to refer to this as the stock standard sim variant. It's pretty much the exact same thing as a stock standard brawl, except instead of that Cassidy, you're running that Symmetra, which provides you that teleporter and TPs. So we'll see what the move is here from both sides. Chrysalis, again, coming out with that stock standard sim variant, and Strix running it as well on their defense. So we'll see which team is able to get the advantage here. Jimbo, unable to get any sort of Fire Strike charges there like he used to. And you see the teleporter. Oh, that is a... Okay, very interesting teleporter strategy coming out from Chrysalis. Try to eliminate the teleporter of Strix is most likely what they're doing, but that's a massive wall coming out from Phantom, and you see Chrysalis trying to make their way through the main, and already they have to extend that Immortality Field from CGW, so this could be detrimental for them. As I say that, Jimbo loses his shield, and the advance is starting to come in here for Chrysalis. The wall comes out from Sergeant Pepper, but that's a better wall coming out from Phantom. Walls Sergeant Pepper out from the rest of his team, and Anastasia loses their mech. That could be detrimental here. Yo, Jimbo, it gets that Shatter online, and Bubble Wyatt's now down, so the Shatter can fly whenever he wants to, but Crystal's now need to try to find another advance. They're going onto the left side here, and the Shatter from Yo Jimbo gets 3 on the ground. That's what you wanted to see if you were Strix. That Shatter coming out from the main tank of Strix, being able to clean up the fight. Mad Nug, however, dies in the aftermath, but it's not going to be enough compared to Chrysalis falling at the seams right now. All that's left are the support players and Bubble Wyatt, with order falling to Matthews, however. Bubble Wyatt gets charged, won't be able to touch this point, will die at the hands of Matthews, and looks like it's just going to be a one fight here for the side of Strix. They're going to be able to get the hold here on Hanamura, as long as they clean up the rest of Chrysalis here.
And yeah, it looks like it's just cleanup time for them, and Chrysalis is putting up a good effort to just retouch a point and, you know, maybe get more time for the other teammates to come in, but I don't think this is going to look well in their favor. And
definitely not.
Honestly, that I will say this, Mad Nug's Symmetra is actually pretty nasty. If you, in that Sim variant of Brawl, your main source of damage is that Symmetra the moment she's tier 3. And I think that's what the mental games come in with these Sim make comps, because how does the Symmetra gain more, you know, being charged to tier 3? It's just by melting the Rhine shields. So as a Rhine player, you need to manage your shield even more, especially against a Symmetra. Because if you're just passively holding up your shield, the Symmetra is just going to get all the damage, and it's just going to melt your team in the process. And that's honestly what seemed to happen for Strix. Bubble Wyatt got picked off because of that tier 3 beam from Mad Nug. And honestly, her turrets were also really good, have really good placements. I want to see what Chrysalis plans to do this time around to challenge this 5-minute 30-second time bank that Strix created, and it looks like they're taking a different method this time around, straying away from the double shield that they had last run around. They're going for this time your actual standard stock brawl with your Mei cast. Hopefully they're trying to use Hanzuki's really good aim and like Sergeant Pepper's walls to, you know, slow down Strix, because it looks like Strix just wants to play fast, and with that cast flashbang, it just slows down the pace if necessary.
We'll definitely see what they're able to do here, just holding on the point, making it so Strix can't do that straight TB to the point. The response from Strix, okay, we'll just go up here. We're going to go up to the pagoda now and shake you on a different angle here. So Strix now have this health pack advantage and now have a different approach into the point. So we'll see what they're able to pull out here, as they're already starting to make a little bit of an advance here. See Bubble Wyatt starting to tick up his Earth Shatter percentage. We'll see what team is able to get the advantage here. It's just a slow burn right now for both teams. The wick slowly burning as Strix just taking their time here to push into the point. As you see, they're trying to make that move in. The flash comes out from Hanzuki again to try and stall out rest of Strix, but you see Strix trying to make that advance, and Bubble Wyatt gets very low. The immortality field there, but that's a 5-man shatter, a 4-man shatter coming out from Bubble Wyatt, but it's not enough. 2 kills have already gotten favored here for the side of Strix, but Chrysalis able to bring it back. 3 kills for them now, and it looks like they're going to be trying to win this fight here in the aftermath. But still, if you're Strix, you've got to be happy about that fight.
Yes, you've got to be very happy with that fight. You brought out the Shatter from Bubba Wyatt and managed to pick him off with just like the Baptiste window. And honestly, that Baptiste window does a lot of damage, which has allowed Mimp to get, you know, kills. But coming in, because Mimp was focused on doing damage, Dai has built up to this Zusho beat. And that's a really good counter to this incoming May Blizzard if she times it right. What I'm looking to see is Sergeant Pepper's probably going to Blizzard with CTW doing that back window.
Definitely see what the move is here from Chrysalis, as they still have 3 minutes to try and defend this. They use the window coming out here from CTW, and Strix immediately try to go for that defense, and Mimp gets picked up by Hanzuki. Already you see Strix trying to retrieve from here. Dai does not invest that beat just yet. The rest of Strix look like they're going to have to try to retreat here, as losing that Baptiste early was definitely not a good thing to see.
I feel like I know what Strix is trying to do, and they call this the Cherry Special, wherein they just build up all their ults and just dump it at one go because they just need one pick. Because if you look at the side of Strix right now, they're up by 5 ults, and Window is going to obviously be built in the process. On the side of Chrysalis, you know, they're going to be up to like 4 ults, and if they're not able to use these zoning ults properly and maybe the sustain ult from Order's beat, they're in for a lot of pain.
As you see, the first ult coming out here, Cherry has that wall, and here comes the blizzard from Doha, the bomb from Matthews, every single ult being thrown into the equation, and that's a 3-man bomb coming out from Matthews in the side of Strix. Anastasia gets the kill into Yojimbo, but still, 3 is definitely better than 1, and just like Stat, Strix using that trademark Cherry Specialist, you mentioned it, apart from Dai's beat right now, which probably will be used here at the end of the point, and just like that, Strix, with the beat from Dai, are going to be taking Hanamura and going to match point as they enter halftime.
Yep, halftime for those who have just joined. We're entering halftime, and the score now is 2-0 in favor of Strix, with a very dominant showing from Strix in terms of how they play their brawl comps. It just goes to show that if Jimbo isn't playing Hog, he's doing way well on playing Reinhardt.
Yeah, definitely. Jimbo, of course, used to be the flex support player for this team. You and I know that especially well. Transition to main tank this season, and so far has been proving that this was a really good move. Really doing a good job on that main tank role, showing how to play the Reinhardt especially well, both on Ilios and on Hanamura. So you better watch out for Yojimbo. You don't want to be caught off guard for him. But now Strix, going into halftime for 10 minutes, you have a 2-point advantage, and you're looking really strong against a team that was in the semifinals last season. Will they be able to shut it out or not? That's the question, however. So, with that being said, is it going to be possible for them to shut it out? We will find out at the end of a break. Will Strix be able to end it 4-0, or will it be Chrysalis trying to get the reverse sweep? We'll see you after halftime. Welcome back to Tranquility Gaming Season 8 coverage. If you've missed the match thus far, you've missed an absolute banger between Strix and Chrysalis. But so far, Strix is up 2-0 in the half at match point, entering our third map. Bowsy here with Thea as we're about to head into our third map of the series. Chrysalis's pick for Hybrid is the one and only King's Row.
King's Row. You know, the thing with King's Row is like, you know what people usually like to run, which is like, it's Scrims Row, because it's a very good practice map to play Reinhardt or Brawl comps in. But we've seen some teams decide to run very funky or, unconventional compositions in that map. We've seen Cosmic Castaways in their preseason. Oh wait, no, that wasn't a preseason. I think I've seen Cosmic Castaways at least run it during their scrims with a ball comp. We've seen some people run it with a double shield. I think Frost Surge is that's what they do. But moving towards King's Row, we're seeing player swaps from both sides. And as much as Anastasia has been doing such a great job for Chrysalis is now on their full lineup. They have Mr. Box in right now, and Mr. Box is their designated off tank. So thank you, Anastasia, for filling in for the past two maps to make this feature match happen. But it's time to get the show rolling and see what Chrysalis really has to offer with this sub in with Mr. Box as their off tank. And along with Mr. Box, we're seeing swaps on the Chrysalis DPS side with Sep coming in for Hanzuki, which makes me wonder what is the thought process, I guess, of the Chrysalis coaching staff in deciding who is subbed in and out for either maps in terms of the DPS line. Now, on the side of Strix, they also have swaps with PBB coming in for Mad Nug, and Dai is being subbed out for Nighthawk, who for a map that's really known for Brawl, Nighthawk is probably the best Lucio player on the Strix support line, so seeing him in for King's Row is definitely going to be a sight to see. I wonder how he's going to match up with Order's Lucio moving forward.
Definitely, it's going to be interesting to see how these two face off against each other coming into King's Row. Definitely the big thing I'm looking for. How is Bubba Wyatt's main tank style going to change with Mr. Box now on the off-tank role? Because obviously Anastasia, being a ringer, may not be accustomed to this team, but now you got your full lineup. You've got your main off-tank in, and now all 6 of your members, well, 7 of your members, including Hanzuki on the bench, means that you're going to be able to have that synergy finally realized. So is Chrysalis going to perform better, or is Strix or is it too little too late here for Chrysalis, and Strix are going to be able to win this series? It's going to be interesting to see as we're going to be heading into the map here very shortly. And also, yes, you mentioned the Brawl sort of style. It'll be interesting to see how Nighthawk and Dai sort of differ in that. Which team's able to come out on top as we head into King's Row here very shortly. Now, of course, you mentioned, you can run other strategies here, like Cosmic Castaways. Discord teams take notes. But you can basically, when it comes to King's Row, you mainly want to run Brawl compositions, and that's probably what we're going to be seeing here.
I mean, that's for sure. And what I wonder is, you did say Anastasia was that ringer for Chrysalis, and with Mr. Box, that might actually change the dynamic of the tank line. I think that Bubba Wyatt and Yojimbo have actually very different Rhine playstyles. It seems that they both have their patient streaks, but I think Bubba Wyatt is just way more patient than Yojimbo sometimes, and it could be seen as a fault here and there. But I think maybe that's because his off tank might just actually be way more aggressive and takes the damage or not takes the damage, but puts in the additional damage to pressure the enemy Reinhardt better. So we're looking at what these teams are planning to run, and it looks like Chrysalis will be the first to attack, with Strix being on the defense first. Strix is going for your standard Brawl of Cass, Mei, which these are the comfort heroes of these two DPS players on the side of Strix. And it looks like Chrysalis is going to just be doing the same thing, reflecting it with this Brawl, with Sergeant Pepper this time on the Cass and Sep on the Mei, which is very different from the last map.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be interesting to see how Chrysalis decide to approach this, especially with that different DPS line. But who knows? Sergeant Pepper, a man of many talents, can play both those scan and flex DPS roles. So we'll see how the advance comes in here as Chrysalis start to make their way onto the point, and that's a good wall coming out from Seth to try and block off Yojimbo, and it works to effectively Sergeant Pepper able to get the kill on the Yojimbo early, and that's going to be critical here for the side of Strix, as now they've lost their off-tank. Nighthawk now dies, and that's already the fight done here. Chrysalis is going to be able to take this first point very cleanly.
Yep, and that was honestly a huge wall from Sep, managing to effectively split Yojimbo from his team, forcing him to only be able to rotate onto one side of the wall. And by the time he's able to do it, Sergeant Pepper just comes in with that flash bang and boom, Yojimbo is dead. But because the fight started so early, they're all back in working order. They're a full six. They've all gotten very short spawns.
And already those short spawns paying off as 2 picks have gone in favor here thanks to Mimp's window. That's a massive wall coming out from Doha as well. Bubble Wyatt and Sergeant Pepper will die as well to the hands of Matthew and Mimp respectively. And Strix holding the cart near here, only 17 meters past the starting point.
You know, Doha really made a good wall there right away. Saw 2 people pushed up. None of it was the flex support, and just said, hey, we're going in and we're going to get this pick in order to stop their momentum. And it did stop their momentum because now they have control of this arch.
Yep, Arch definitely a really good place to control here. The Deadeye comes out from Sergeant Pepper, and so does the window and the shatter. Absolutely nothing resulted of that shatter coming out from Bubble Wyatt, but still, you see the Strix are trying to push in. That's a massive blizzard coming out from Doha, gets both tanks into it, and Bubble Wyatt dies to the hands of Yojimbo on the charge. PvP cleans up with that Deadeye, and that's going to be another one fight for Strix.
You know, very good disengage from Nighthawk from that high noon with the speed, and even the utilization of, you know, that, I guess Sep's wall kind of didn't work in their favor, because while it did split them off, Yojimbo still kept his shield up. He was very smart to keep his shield up while the noon was ongoing, such that even when the wall dropped, he blocked the shatter from Bubba Wyatt. And now Sep has to properly play this Mei ult in order to just get any value, or maybe wall off Yojimbo again.
Ooh, yeah, big wall coming out from Sep and Wen, but the blizzard comes out as well, and Yojimbo's able to get the kill on the Sep. A massive blizzard coming out from Sep, however, so it's still winnable here for Chrysalis, and Yojimbo is dead. Bomb come out here from Mr. Box, unable to get any kills, and he's stunned out of the remake! That could be absolutely travesty here for the side of Chrysalis, as Matthews indicates his own bomb, able to get the kill into Mr. Box, and that's another one fight for Strix, and the time is ticking down for Chrysalis.
Honestly, how this is looking like is Yojimbo is always like the first person to die, but somehow Mimp manages to get the kills right after he dies. And, you know, Mimp is doing such a great job, like, trying to keep Yojimbo up all this time. But, you know, when he's down, she just goes on to full DPS mode, much like she's the 3rd DPS of the team. But coming into this, Chrysalis has beat, so they might be using it to aggress, if anything.
Window comes out here from the side of Strix, and you see already the pressure going on to Yojimbo, but he stays alive. Sep dies to the hands of Nighthawk, and here comes the Deadeye coming out from PvP to try and split the members of Chrysalis. He's going to do that job effectively, but the shatter from Bubble Wyatt gets 4 on the ground, and Chrysalis start making the engagement with that. The beat invested well, but that's the end of the fight there. Chrysalis continue the cart moving forward.
I think that beat's unnecessary from Order, because they had essentially won that fight with Yojimbo already dying and having, you know, used that. I guess it was, I'm not sure if it was the bomb or the blizzard, but Bubba Wyatt managed to use the shatter. It got everyone. That was a one fight even without that beat. So I think that's much of a loss to them, considering we're coming up with Doha's blizzard, and the only thing stopping him from that is an eat from Mr. Box.
Definitely, Matthew's going to be able to touch the card here, being able to just sail in as Sergeant Pepper used the Deadeye. And the Blizzard is eaten! You jinxed it there! Mr. Box able to eat the Blizzard coming out from Phantom, and now Strix trying desperately to scramble the pieces together, but already they've lost 3 in this fight, and it looks like Chrysalis, as long as they deal with PvP, are going to be able to cap second point.
Okay, in my defense, I did not curse that. Doha cursed it himself by, you know, just inting into the team without his teammates, which just signals to the enemy D.Va, hey, this person wants the Blizzard. I'm going to watch for this person to throw that Blizzard. And Mr. Box was smart enough to see that right away. And coming up, there's going to be double support also on the side of Strix. They just need to wait out and build this before they recontinue their push.
They need to be careful of CTW's wall window as well, as that could be detrimental for them. Window now expired here for the side of Chrysalis, as the window comes out from Mimp this time. And there's the shatter from Yojimbo. Gets Sergeant Pepper and Bubble Wyatt on the ground, and Strix, with those ults in their favor, they're going to be winning that fight. And that's going to be in the hold here for Strix. Uh-oh.
Strix. Oh.
CTW's in the back line. CTW's in the back. Okay, they notice.
And Matt gets the kill credit for that, so that's ult charge for him. Honestly, I think that was a good hold for Strix. probably patiently waiting to use their ults. Honestly, if CTW had just waited a bit longer before he popped his window, I think he would have gotten more value compared to just putting it at the corner. But you know, they're coming in with 3 ults with all zoning capabilities.
Yep, the zoning capabilities of a Deadeye and the bomb get them. Bubble Wyatt, however, able to get the charge kill onto Bubble Wyatt. The bomb comes out from Matthews, unable to get anything, and PvP also uses their Deadeye as well. And now Sep able to get that critical kill onto Phantom. That could be detrimental here for the side of Strix, but still, Strix able to get these kills, and it looks like that Strix are going to be able to hold here as Chrysalis back up.
Honestly, with all those zoning ults from Chrysalis, I thought they would actually be more aggressive and push forward because you should be pushing in with that bomb, you should be pushing in with that high noon. And they did try that to an extent, but they just weren't, I guess, focused on who to kill first from all of that. Because they only got Nighthawk, but they managed to pick up everything. They weren't able to pick up anything after that.
Mimp gets that kill onto Mr. Box, and now Bubble Wyatt gets walled off and killed by PvP. Already, Crystal's having to back up. They did not have their Diva Mech engaged, and they're going to have to reset here, and they only have 1 minute and 30 seconds here, Thea.
You know, they're building up ults. They're going to be coming in with 5, and that means there's going to be an ult fiesta coming up with us. They could honestly use any of these to create space, but Yojimbo's playing this smart. He's playing it a bit up to take the space and to make them work for that space.
Deadeye comes out here from Sergeant Pepper to try and separate Strix a little bit. They're able to do that. The Shadow comes out from Yojimbo, able to get Sep on the ground. The Immortality and Beast invested from the side of Chrysalis, and PvP dies to the hands of Sergeant Pepper after Bubble White used his Shatter. Ults being thrown back and forth, as you mentioned earlier, and it looks like Strix gonna be on the receiving end of a loss here as they are all over the place after that Blizzard coming out from Sep. Chrysalis might be able to bring this to the final points.
You know, Strix just has to play this slowly, waiting for picks, and it looks like Nighthawk got that pick, but oh no, he wasted his beat in the process.
That could be detrimental here for the side of Strix, maybe even losing the point here. Bubble Wyatt gets also the kill onto PvP as well. Looking winnable here for Chrysalis as Yojimbo had to switch over to the Desperation Ball to try and stall this out for the side of Strix. They're trying to make sure they can bring this overtime. Matthews gets the bomb out, but not without his own life being lost, and Mr. Fox loses his life to that bomb. That is absolutely ridiculous right now. Everything's going all over the place. The wall comes out here from Doa to try and separate that high noon from Sergeant Pepper, but Chrysalis are about to bring this to the final point. The Blizzard comes out here from Phantom. It could be massive. It has to be massive. Mimp gets the kill on the Sep, so now another player down for the side of Chrysalis, and Chrysalis suddenly have lost their grasp in this fight. The rest of Strix able to bring them out in the end. They're able to get these final kills that they need, and it looks like through it all, Strix will be able to stall it out long enough and will be winning this. We'll be holding this out here. Not a full cap here for the side of Chrysalis. And Strix, with Yojimbo falling into the pit there, looks like Strix is going to be holding it out here on King's Row.
Yep, that's not even a full completion on the side of Chrysalis. And, you know, Chrysalis had such a good chance to cap that point, but I think, you know, using all those ults at one go in the end just hurt them a bit. Or maybe not even a bit. I think it hurt them a lot because, you know, they had 5 ults. They just needed to space out when to use these ults rather than use maybe 2 or 3 of them at the same time. Because if they had spaced that out, that would have forced Strix to be more selective on which resources to use in order to counter them. And Strix has been very patient. I'm actually surprised watching this. They know when to disengage, when to wait it out, and just reaggress with, you know, as a full team or whoever's still up to contest the point. And now we're seeing what Chrysalis has to offer for their defense, and they're going for the same standard brawl with the Cass and the Mei, with the same people still holding the specific roles. PvP, he is showing us a Widowmaker right now, and I honestly think this just might be to get, you know, that initial pick, maybe from a dazed Chrysalis player, a dazed Butterfly who, you know, isn't watching the sidelines and isn't expecting this one-shot potential from a Widow. I'm pretty sure he's changing to Cass afterwards, hopefully. Unless he's throwing. PvP, please don't do this to me.
Please, my picks do not need this right now, as it looks like... No? Okay, thank you, PvP. Don't give us all heart attacks here in the casting booth, please. Don't do that to us, but now Strix running out with the stock standard brawl of their own here as Looks like they're going to be running in here with the attack. Yojimbo already has a lot of charge here on this Earth Shatter. You see the wall from Sep, not able to get any sort of impact there. Wall from Doha also able to knock in a lot, but you already see Yojimbo gets a little frozen there, but PvP gets that kill onto Sergeant Pepper, which could be the decider here in this fight. And Bubba Wyatt dies as well. Beautiful stun coming out from PvP. Chrysalis just going to retreat here as Strix starts to count up the percentage.
And Strix is here just taking the space from them, making sure they don't get back just as quickly by pushing towards Bookstore, getting those cleanup kills. And honestly, that was very patient from both sides, but also smart usage of the Mei walls. You could see that Mr. Box and Bubba Wyatt were stuck behind Doha's wall for a while, and Yojimbo just seeing it just started swinging on them, which gave PvP that room to land a flashbang and swords at them.
Here comes the Deadeye coming out from PvP, trying to, again, push back Chrysalis. Make sure that Strix can get this free real estate for themselves, but gotta be careful, because Chrysalis are building up their own ults in this fight. Now it's just pretty much just a skirmish. They're fighting out here by the bookstore. You know, literature is very important here in the world of Overwatch. So here comes the Deadeye coming out from Sergeant Pepper now. Gets blocked by that wall from Phantom. And you see that Strix trying to hide out in this bookstore right now. Wait for the perfect opportunity to peek out. Be able to try and get this fight initiated. Big wall from Sep. Splits the team, but that's a 5-man shatter coming out from Yojimbo. Gets a lot of members on the side of Chrysalis out on the ground, but the Blizzard is able to come out here from the side of Sep regardless. Bomb comes out from Matthews, unable to get any sort of kills. And the shatter from Bubba Wyatt doesn't get anything, but still, Strix are going to have to retreat here. Chrysalis will win this first fight and will get this arch control.
Yep, Chrysalis had to invest ults in order to regain control of that archway, and I think they've used 4 ults in that process compared to Strix, who had only used their Diva Bomb and I think Jimbo Shatter. So Strix is actually at an ult advantage right now, and it looks like they're passing towards, you know, the darker side of King's Row in order to flip the map on them and make Chrysalis rethink on how they're going to do their attack.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this approach works here. Blizzard comes out here from Phantom, loses his life for it, but Jimbo charges the bomb that Mr. Box tried to shoot into the enemy team, and PvP is able to get that kill onto CTW. That's a massive pickoff here for PvP, and he's able to get the kill to Sergeant Pepper as well. Strix turning this fight around one by one, and the kills are going in their favor. Looks like they will be getting the final kills and will be pushing this cart once again.
Honestly, that was a really good play from Mr. Box to throw the bomb into that alleyway, considering all of Strix was there. But honestly, bigger brain by Yojimbo to just charge at the bomb so that it's not at his team. Because if it were to blow up in Bookstore and just take him, they are still, you know, up by numbers. And knowing the lineup of Strix, they could still fight it even when Yojimbo's down. But coming into this, there is a high noon from Sergeant Pepper, and he's most likely going to use this to zone out Strix and give time for Sep to build a full charge to get Blizzard.
Window comes out here from Mimp, and the Deadeye, as you said, from Sergeant Pepper zones out Strix and gets 2. That is not what you want to see here. Sergeant Pepper gets those crucial picks, and just like that, Strix already have to retreat. All that's left is their tank players, and they're going to have to hold back.
Yep, the tank players saw that it was a lost cause, and it looks like Matt wasn't able to get out with his life, and they're just going to stagger him. And while that is happening, Strix is going to see if they could... No, that's a smart play. They're not going to re-aggress with their Diva down. But looking at the ults, Chrysalis has bought enough time to build their Blizzard, which is great for, you know, taking advantage of the space and creating more space. Honestly, if they wanted to push, considering Strix's Diva was down, they could have just thrown in and won with that Blizzard.
Window comes out from CTW to try and separate Strix once again. And you see Jimbo stuck in the bookstore right now and gets picked out by Sergeant Pepper. So already Strix at a main tank disadvantage, and they're just going to retreat just like that. They lose their main tank, they lose the fight.
Yep, and the only thing that Chrysalis had to expend there was the Baptiste window, and it was high value picking off Yojimbo right away. But I'm expecting another ult fiesta coming up. Both sides are building up the ults. There's 5 on Chrysalis, and there's going to be 5 also on the side of Strix, and this is going to be a battle of queues.
Oh, the ult comes out, and already a massive shatter coming out from Bubba Wyatt, and all the ults being expended on the side of Chrysalis. Both teams use all their ults, except for one on the side of Strix, but that's already a 1 fight for Chrysalis, and Phantom's gonna get staggered out here a little bit.
Yeah, he did get staggered out, but that was an ult fiesta. But I think that works in the favor of Strix. Look at it. They have 3 ults.
Yeah.
Chrysalis has none! Chrysalis just dumped everything into that 1-5. How are they going to counter this incoming high noon and also this beat which allows Strix to reaggress? Honestly, if Strix saw what just happened, we're going to use that beat to aggressively go on point.
High Noon comes out for an aggressive push here from PvB, tries to get any sort of targets from Chrysalis that are phasing out, but unable to get anything. He comes out here from Nighthawk to make the aggressive play. Yojimbo goes for that charge to try and get in, and you see Strix, one by one, using their ults effectively. Bomb comes out here from Matthews to try and get any sort of pick, and it gets two! Massive bomb coming out from Matthews that eliminates both supports on the side of Chrysalis. Strix continuing to push this cart, and it looks like they'll be able to get it to point B.
Honestly, this is going to be a point to cap for Strix, hopefully, unless Mr. Box decides he's going to recontest point, but I think he opted to go for a smarter play and just say, hey, we're going to fight them on third point. We've dwindled their clock by a huge number. They only have around 1 minute 40 to cap until where they ended, and they're at an ult advantage given that they have Sergeant Pepper's High Noon, which he's now using.
Yep, Ainu comes out once again to split apart Strix, and 2 picks found from that. So already Strix having to retreat here a little bit as Sergeant Pepper gets a third in that fight. Now Strix back to the drawing board.
Strix is back to the drawing board, and Seth is coming up with that Blizzard. Definitely going to be using this next fight if they actually use it aggressively. And you could see he's trying to figure out where to set up in order to use this Blizzard. On the side of Strix, they're building up towards Yojimbo's Earth Shatter. Hopefully this gets value, but if they drag on this fight, Strix is going to be on an ult advantage.
Yeah, they gotta be quick with this fight, and PvB already finds that kill onto Sergeant Pepper, and that's a giant wall coming out from Phantom as well. Bubba Wyatt drags Phantom down to the grave, and the Blizzard comes out here from Steph, and the Deadeye from PvB trying to separate the rest of Chrysalis. It's back and forth, but in the end of it, Strix trying to get those necessary picks. Mr. Box uses the bomb, and that might be the nail in the coffin there for Strix to lose this fight, but still, could be an advantage for them in the long run.
Yeah, no, those are staggers coming out from the side of Strix. They just need to hard regroup. They're going to have Blizzard, they're going to have Beat, they're going to have Window, they're going to have Bomb, they're going to have Shatter. They have all the win conditions. This is like Chrysalis, and when Chrysalis was attacking for this point. They just need to be smarter with how they use these ults. Spread them out. Don't overlap them, because they need to use these ults in order to get to the last push of where Chrysalis ended.
Yeah, it's going to be hard here for Strix. They only have 10 seconds here to try and get this cart moving. They're going to have to bring this into overtime. We'll see what the move is. The Shatter comes out for Yojimbo, gets 2 on the ground. The Beat responds for order. The Shatter from Bubba Wyatt doesn't get anything. And here comes the bomb from Matthews. We've seen a lot of miracle bombs thus far. It gets the kill on the Sergeant Pepper, but it's not enough to try and turn the fight here. Strix trying to get any sort of progress they can. Blizzard comes out here from Phantom, and that's massive. 3 people frozen on the side of Chrysalis. Bubba Wyatt, CCW, Mr. Box, all falling to the hands of Strix. Strix just need to try and finish out this fight one more time. Only 20 meters left to try and finish it out here at King's Row.
Both sides are coming up with High Noon. This is Sergeant Pepper has to get some value with his High Noon, or not die in the process, because they know where he is.
They know where he is. Yep, and he dies.
No, he dies.
But still, Crystal's trying to invest into this. PvB gets that kill in the order. It could be the turn of the tides here. The Shatter comes out again from Jimbo. Bubba Wyatt dies, and Chrysalis looking so strong throughout all King's Row. The Blizzard eaten from Sep. And unfortunately, Chrysalis will not be able to get the win here in this series. The third map is decided here as long as Sep is dealt with quickly and effectively. Chrysalis trying to get cleaned up here. PvB just barely saves himself from death. And just like that, the Owls will soar high. Strix win the series, heading into our 4th and final map.
You know, we all know at the end of the day, Strix does win this match up with, cleaning it up with a clean 3-0. But hey, Chrysalis has a chance to get this 4th map, and in this portion with how Tranquility works, map differential makes so much of a difference, and that is actually a huge shatter from Bubba Wyatt. Honestly, got so much value, but I think this was the fight where they invested so much ults. But honestly, as I said, Strix and Chrysalis were at that same setup on that last push on third point of King's Row. And the major difference really was how they utilized their ults. Strix opted to play patient, opted to actually spread out when they're using their ults, not ult dumping. So what does that do? That at least pushed them onto the end, allowed all the resources of Chrysalis to be burned out. And at the end of the day, Doha gets that Blizzard for free, which wins them that last portion.
Yeah, really good job from Strix to layer those ultimates one by one, not running the cherry strategy as much unless they really just want to finish out a fight in last desperation territory. So good job from Strix being able to use those ults more effectively with Chrysalis. But now we're still not done. As I mentioned, there is still a fourth map. We always play the fourth map in these series. We run it back with Overwatch League Season 1 style, where we always play 4 maps and always the map differential can count, as you mentioned. Map differential means everything, and it could mean the difference between getting a higher seed in the playoffs or not being in the playoffs at all. So we're going to see what the choice is here from Chrysalis, as they will be getting that fourth map, which will be our escort map. They've chosen Junkertown for their map pick, which I think I'm a little excited, if you know what I'm thinking here, Thea.
If I don't see a Bastion composition, I'm rioting. I will boycott this feature match because I don't see a Bastion. I think Bastion comps are great. Maybe our producer at the back here, Dor, will say otherwise, but I personally like seeing Bastion comps and see the bullshit that teams can pull off in the end. And it looks like I think there are swaps happening on both sides, with Chrysalis bringing in Hanzuki for Seth. Sorry. Hanzuki is filling in for Sep on the Chrysalis DPS line, probably hinting to maybe something like a double sniper, because Sergeant Pepper does have that pool that allows to play hit scans, and Hanzuki looks like the designated hit scan player of Chrysalis. On the side of Strix, they're doing the same thing. Doha, who did so wonderfully on May for King's Row, is being subbed out for Mad Nog, who is another hit scan player for Strix. So Strix is fielding in both of their hit scan players, and Nighthawk did such a great job as the Lucio player for the team, but Dai is back in, and Dai is known for that Mercy, so I'm expecting that heavy Mercy pocket from Dai, right? That's her bread and butter. She really loves Mercy.
Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see what these teams picked out. When I said like I'm hoping you see what I see, like I did not expect the Bastion composition, but anything can happen. Bastion can be a valid strat. I've seen Bastion here on Junkertown used a lot, but as we end the Junkertown again, this is the last point here for Chrysalis. It's worth noting, Chrysalis have not been 4-0'd yet this season. They took a map off of the Koala King, and they took a map off of Nemesis so far this season, but Strix also have never lost a map this season. So either way, one of these streaks is getting ruined here tonight, Thea. It's going to be interesting to see which one.
I'm looking forward to see which streak ends, but I'm disappointed with both of these teams. Why are we playing such stale double sniper, double shield compositions on Junkertown? I know this is the usual compositions that are run here. Either the double sniper with a ball comp or, with a double shield. But man, I was hoping for a Bastion. This is such a good pirate ship map. But you know what? I'll save my disappointment for another time. I filled in for that. I was the caster for the Fahrenheit match last week. They had a Bastion comp. Maybe that's just how the cookie crumbles for me. I can only have one cast with a Bastion comp in it. But these teams are running essentially the same comps, except for their main support, with Dai playing the Mercy and Order playing the Zenyatta. So there's more poke on the side of Chrysalis.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see which team takes the advantage in that, as now you see teams setting up with these shields, trying to get those sort of picks. Big rock coming out from Mr. Box, canceled Matthew's walk, so that's going to be a little hard there for the side of Chrysalis, but already PvB showing his skill here on the Widowmaker. Gets 2 picks on that Widowmaker onto Hanzuki in Order, but gets picked off by CTW, but still, that's 2 big picks here from the side of Strix, and already at the third one, Cherry able to get the kill onto Sergeant Pepper as well, so it looks like you might be seeing Chrysalis just stabilize a little bit or hold back a little bit while Strix get the hold a little bit.
Honestly, I remember Mr. Yeti saying that, he thinks Strix is strong because of PvB, because they have PvB who did so well in Discord here, and it just goes to show right away here in this match. First 2 picks are from PvB right away, both on the Widow and on the Zen, only to be picked off at the end by CTW's Baptiste. But he got so much value right away.
Definitely, but now you see the value going in favor of Chrysalis. Sergeant Pepper able to get that kill into Yojimbo. The res comes in here from Dae, which is definitely going to help here, but Sergeant Pepper responds, getting PvB out. It's already a big pick here, but still, picks are going in favor of both ways here. Matthews gets the kill into Sergeant Pepper, but Hanzuki gets that kill onto the main tank for Strix. Dragon's going to be invested here from the side of Strix as they're trying to separate the rest of Chrysalis, and it does that job exactly. Both tanks are stuck on the card, and Matthews able to get the kill onto Bubble Wyatt here, so might be seeing a little bit of a retreat here from the side of Chrysalis, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Strix will get another hold here on Junkertown.
Honestly, that was such a good window from CTW because that picked off Yojimbo right away. He had nowhere to hide, and that just picked off Yojimbo right away. But the Dragons from Mad Dog really did so well to split them apart, which gave it back to Strix.
Ult's flying left, right, and center here as Order's able to get the kill onto Yojimbo, and Hanzuki gets that headshot kill onto Mimp. So already that's two big picks out of the way here for Chrysalis as they're starting to make this cart move advancing forward. Dai's able to get the res onto Mimp, however, so it's winnable here for Strix as the size comes out here from PvB, and that Flux coming out from Matthews gets 3 up in the air. Hanzuki gets killed by PvB, but the transit there from Order to stabilize the rest of them. And overall, it looks like Chrysalis are going to be able to win this fight and get this cart into point A. It's just going to take a little bit of stagger kills here, and they're going to be winning this. They're going to be getting this first point here. But as I say that, PvB gets the kill into Order, and Mad Dog gets the kill into CCW.
No. I'm telling you right now, this DPS line of Strix comes in clutch. Even Mimp, who is, yes, she's a flex support player, but she has been coming in strong the moment she gets res. She plays so well in turning the fight around, even coming in with that clutch lamp for Matt to stay up. Strix manages to hold it just from the sheer capabilities of the DPS line, and maybe just Mimp with these really good lamps on the team just to keep the fight ongoing.
I'm sorry I ever doubted you, Strix. I'll make it up to you next season. But still, you see now Chrysalis are trying to push in with this last-ditch effort. They have this Dragon Strike from Sergeant Pepper. And as I say that, Sergeant Pepper dies at the hands of Cherry, so that's already a big pick out of the way. Hanzuki does get the headshot kill onto PvB, however, and Yojimbo's just trying to distract here with this Wrecking Ball. Gets stunned out, still able to survive. And here comes that Dragon and Flux coming out from the side of Chrysalis. The Flux gets 2, but they're all stuck in that little room there on the left. Hanzuki able to get the kill into Matthews, however, and now it looks like Strix might have to give this up unless, again, these DPS make miracle plays, which Cherry and PvB are still alive, and unfortunately Mimp dies, but PvB's already found 2 on this Widowmaker. It's still winnable here for the side of Strix. Yojimbo uses the mines on point. Now Chrysalis, they're in last sight territory right now. The lamp comes out here.
I was going to say, Chrysalis just has to play their life right now to get everyone together, because they barely have time left. They just need to play their life and play it smart while the reinforcements come in, just so that they could cap this point.
It's going to be difficult as the Flux comes out here from Matthews, gets 2 up in the air, including that Lucio Warder who dies. Bubble Wyatt now the only one left on the card alongside Sergeant Pepper. You see now Mr. Box switching over to the Desperation Diva, trying to bring this in favor here for the side of Chrysalis as Yojimbo kills Sergeant Pepper, and the rest of Chrysalis start falling down one by one. So many situations where it looked like Chrysalis would cap that first point, and they won't even do that. Only 89 meters on Junkertown first point.
Oh, that was... I also thought that Chrysalis could, at least complete that first point. I was actually very hopeful that they would. It's just that this DPS line of Strix is really just clutching it up from them at the key moments. I saw that 1v1 fight between Mad Nug and I think one more player on Chrysalis, and she just won that fight. And that turned it into Strix's favor so much in that fight on the cart that, I thought they would lose, but they essentially won in the end. And I think the ball swap from Yojimbo was super helpful from them. Maybe not with the support line that they were running, but he got so much value, at least in creating space by displacing the tanks of Chrysalis from, behind the shields so that Mad Nug and Matt could get value from it, and even Mimp. But we're going on to Strix's attack, and they're going for the same ball comp, except instead of a Baptiste, Mimp is going to be on Ana. Now, my question is how she's going to be using this nano, because this does not look like a comp wherein you have a surefire, target for this nano. So maybe I'm expecting it more on either Matt, or who knows, maybe we're going to see a Nano Mercy this time around. I do think Dai has pretty good aim when she's allowed to pistol. On the side of Chrysalis, you do have that standard double shield with Sergeant Pepper this time playing the Tracer to harass the backline. And that's going to make Myth worry about her life way longer. And Order on Brig is there to stop this ball from Yojimbo. So Yojimbo has to play this very smart and not, die in these engages rolling in because Order will stop him. And even the rock from Mr. Box.
Yeah, it's definitely getting a lot harder here for Jimbo to get that sort of value here on the Wrecking Ball, so we'll see if he's able to pull it off here against Chrysalis' sort of bunker composition. You did mention that Tracer Sergeant Pepper, and he's currently in the backline harassing PvB, so we'll see if that's able to get any sort of value here. As now Jimbo tries to go for the roll, doesn't get anything, and really it's just a waiting game here for the side of Strix. They're looking for that perfect opportunity, and already Mr. Box gets the kill onto Matthews, and same onto Mimp. That's 2 kills thus far for the Sigma player on the side of Chrysalis, and just like that, Strix have to try and back out here.
I think Strix should see what Chrysalis is running and make the compositional changes. Because this double sniper lineup is going to struggle in getting that fix, especially behind the shield. And when there's a Tracer harassing the back line from, being able to position comfortably, right? Sergeant Pepper's doing a lot of work being that distraction.
Dragon Strike comes out here from Cherry, who was able to get that kill onto Mr. Box alongside Jimbo. So now it's going to be a little bit harder here for Chrysalis to try and push this. Sergeant Pepper is contesting the card, however, so no sort of push in card progress is going to come out here. And Hanzuki gets that critical pick onto Cherry. PvB, however, snipes Sergeant Pepper straight back into the spawn room. And just like that, you see Strix starting to make the advance. Madnug gets that return kill onto Hanzuki. And now PvB starting to go nuts on this Widowmaker. And Strix looks like they're going to be finishing out this fight here, and they might have already won this map just based off of that.
Honestly, that was such a good play from Yojimbo. Those picks that PvB got was all because Yojimbo created that huge ball slam that just put everyone in the air and gave PvB such a clean line of sight because they were behind all those shields. I'm sure Sergeant Pepper's gonna touch, and he does get mad in the process.
Yeah, definitely big pulse bomb coming out from Sergeant Pepper to eliminate that Sigma player who was on the cart there for the side of Strix. So now Strix, with this window coming out from CCW, they have to try and play a little more conservatively, and Sergeant Pepper finds that kill on the PvB. So now it looks like it's going to be a retreat here from Strix, as they've lost a lot of members in this fight, and now Chris is going to hold.
The Chrysalis could hold, but the only ult they have upcoming is Hanzuki's Bob. If they could get the ult charge from that very quickly. But on the side of Strix, they have those mines, which Yojimbo decides to bring out in order, to maybe hopefully had gotten more card progress, but it really didn't get much value. They do have that Flux and Dragon upcoming, and honestly, they could combo those off if they wanted. Mimp is also coming up with that Nano, and Dai has Valk. They do have the ults to just sustain through this next fight, as long as they know who's going to be the targets for each of these ults. I'm hoping to see Chrysalis maybe engage a bit faster, knowing that they're at an ult deficit. Maybe help Order get that additional percentage to get rally so that they can actually brawl out on point.
Nano boost comes out from him onto Yojimbo, who switched over to his signature Roadhog now, and Mad Dog finds the kill on the Bubble Wide, so now it is winnable here, and that Dragon Strike is able to kill Order. That is massive coming out from Mad Dog. Still now Chrysalis, they're getting the kills that they need. CTW is able to get the kill onto Cherry, but it might not be enough as PvB has already found Mr. Box and Sergeant Pepper, and just like that, Chrysalis all falling at the seams. All that's left is Bubble Wyatt on this ball, who might be able to contest, but it's going to be a long road.
He just gets hooked off by Yojimbo, who just switched to the Hog.
Yep.
I've heard Yojimbo say, I like the Hog character. It definitely shows. He's pulled it out twice in this series. And, Strix wins this map. They're the one whose, streak has continued of, winning these series 4-0. I'm sorry, Chrysalis, your track record of taking one map from the enemy team has just been broken today.
Yeah, definitely. Great job from Strix, getting that clean 4-0 sweep, continuing their dominance in RMA Harmony tier right now. They are looking like a potential championship team right now, Thea, and that is very scary. And honestly, it's really good. I mean, for us, because we were former Strix alumni, but still, for this team, they have a lot of talent. They have a lot of personality. They have a chance to be able to bring this all the way, and this was a great start to it, taking down Chrysalis 4-0. So great job today from Strix, getting that 4-0, being able to bring it close on all 4 of their maps. And in the end, they will continue their streak of dominance heading into week 4 here of Tranquility Gaming Harmony tier. But now, as the series is done, all the maps have been settled and all the scores have been set, Thea, as I usually do in all my matches, or at least in most Tranquility matches, we have to decide a player of the match, each of us from Strix.
Oh my gosh, this is such a hard choice for me because there were a lot of standout plays from this team, but I will honestly have to give it to Yojimbo. I think he played his main tank role very well by creating that space, and even if he dies in the process, he's created that much space for his team to capitalize on, and his team has always been smart enough to take on that space he has created and to capitalize on it. Whether it's, blocking Rhine shatters as Rhine or creating those slams for as ball to give those picks for PvB, he has done a lot for the team. Honestly, solid showing from him, and for someone who just switched to the role of main tank, he is doing a pretty solid job.
Yeah, I cannot argue with you with that. Obviously, Yojimbo switching over to the main tank role this season, doing a really good job. However, I'm not going to give it to Yojimbo because a good main tank is never complete without a good off tank, unless you're talking about Overwatch 2. But I'm going to give my player of the match to Matthews. I have never seen this guy before, and I already know why Strix has picked him up. He is really good on that off-tank role, being able to enable Jimbo in those critical situations, being able to bring it into their favor. So a great job overall from Matthews and Jimbo. My player of the match is Matthews. Thea's player of the match is Jimbo, and I think both of them have been well-deserved considering how well they did today.
Fun fact about this tank line, by the way, Strix only picked up Matt 2 days before the season started.
Yes.
So this synergy you're seeing from the tank line has just been built over the Trank season so far.
Yeah, that is definitely amazing to hear, considering that Strix had to go through 3 different off-tanks when the season started. They settled on Matt, they found Matt, and they have been running this entire course for Matt, and it's shown to pay off. Matt has been a really strong off-tank and has been able to prove that he can synergize well with this team, but enough talking good about Matt, as much as we would love to here in the booth. But that is going to do it for us today. Make sure you stay tuned to Tranquility Gaming. We have 2 feature matches later, tomorrow. Happening tomorrow. The Harmony EU match, which was supposed to happen today, and the North American Transcendence tier match between Devil Dukes and Maelstrom. You do not want to miss it. But for everybody here in the booth, including my wonderful co-caster, Thorumea, and our amazing producer, Dor, thank you all for watching. Until we meet again, have an amazing night.